Shall we do a short meditation today? So first you should get this idea of meditation. What is meditation? I'm joking. Meditation is of two types. One-pointed meditation, analytical meditation. There are many actually, but these are the two main types of meditation. One-pointed meditation, analytical meditation. One-pointed meditation is called sometimes concentration. Analytical meditation, by the word itself, you will understand that it is a process of analyzing, examining the reality. Now the question is, why you need to meditate? You need to meditate, for example, concentration. As I was saying the other day, these days meditation has become very famous, but it is becoming a sort of just relaxation process. Not many people are going into the depth. But actually the word concentration is being used because if you are somebody who is able to clearly observe the suffering, the problem, in fact the intense suffering problem, you will naturally concentrate. Then there will be no room for laziness. I'll do it tomorrow or day after tomorrow, or all these different types of lazinesses that creeps in our life. There's so many types of lazinesses. Lazinesses in the sense of not doing anything, that we always understand. Then laziness of procrastination. That means I will do, but I'll do it later on. You postpone the time of your practice. That is also laziness. Laziness also in the sense that yes, this is something important, but I'm not intelligent. I don't have much capacity, so I can't do it, You defame yourself. You look down upon yourself and don't do it. That is also laziness. And laziness also because of your attachment to inferior things. Yes, I must do my study, I must do my dharma practice, but first I should watch this movie. First I should go to a restaurant. Things like that. You go for the things that are less important. That's also called laziness. So there are so many different types of lazinesses. But if you are somebody who has really seen the precarious nature of human life, the difficulties, the difficulties and problems, looming large. Like the great practitioners, they say that this samsara itself is like a burning house. We don't see that. Therefore it's okay. Samsara is fine, And we use the word home sweet home, Samsara is the home sweet home, right? But the Buddha has repeatedly said, be alert, be mindful, concentrate, because all your five senses are on fire. All your five senses are on fire. Because all your five senses are completely indulged into the five sensual objects. Imagine, all the five sensual senses are, stuck into the five sensual objects. Elephant is killed because of attachment to touch. Elephant is caught and killed, imprisoned because of obsession to touch. Flies, like house flies, they are caught and killed because of their obsession, attachment to smell. Fish is caught and killed because of its obsession to taste. Wild animals like deer are caught and imprisoned and killed because of their obsession to the sound. Right? So it's because of this attachment to the sensual objects we get all these problems. Like look at today's situation. Everybody is saying, I'm busy, you know. You want to see anybody, you need to seek an appointment. Everybody says you are busy, and nobody knows what are they busy about. And somebody really very, nicely said, it is not important you are busy, what is important is what are you busy about. Most of the time, the area in which we are busy is nonsense, of no importance. You simply become busy because everybody is busy. Because we have this tendency to run because everybody is running. And I have seen this myself very often, like doing around the winter session, if you're looking for warm clothes, then somebody goes to McLeodganj and says, oh, somebody is selling a nice warm pullover or, underwear, undergarment, and it's pretty cheap, 200 rupees or 100 rupees. Then without much thinking, people just rush and buy it because somebody says it's nice, somebody said it's cheap, And you don't take the time whether you really need it or not. You run because everybody is running. So what these Buddhist teachings are saying when we talk about meditation, so forth, is analyze for yourself. What you are doing is useful, not useful, useful for others, useful yourself or not. So concentration, the main idea of concentration is possible only if you have a precise understanding of suffering, fragility. Like for example, if suddenly somebody announces, Geshe, this house is on fire, then I would not sit here saying that, okay, house is fire, okay, no problem. Please listen carefully and then continue to my teaching. I will not do that. I will immediately concentrate and think about how to save my life, jumping from the window. That's exactly what happened when this, multi-story building in London caught fire. Many people died just by jumping. You see. Then concentration will come when you see the threat, when you see the danger. But we don't see. We don't see. So therefore, our practice is lukewarm. Which means when your stomach is full, tone down, and basking in the warmth of the sun, then you look like a good Dharma practitioner. As soon as you encounter a misfortune, a calamity, then you get angry, then you fight, then you really reveal your true nature. There's no sign of Dharma practice. Clearly showing that the practice of Dharma is not gone deep into your mind. And that is the real practice is possible if you soak yourself with this knowledge. If you don't leave a gap between the Dharma and your mind, then it's possible. And that is possible only if you have a precise understanding of the law of nature. Why we are suffering, what are the causes of suffering, what are the situations of other people, and all these things. Right? So therefore, meditation, one, concentration. The real concentration will come if you see why you need to concentrate. For example, you see, when somebody says, okay, let us say you are a university-going student, and then they say in December, and this is June, in December is your final exam. Then you start thinking, okay, I should prepare, but still there are 5 more months, 6 more months. Not much concentration. So you while away your time. Then as you approach closer and closer, then only 3-4 days left. Then people really like whether they are able to learn anything or not, but they will then, there is fear, now I will fail. You see, because now you have seen that imminent danger or problem or difficulty at your doorstep. Right? So similarly, that's why we are reading this first chapter on impermanence and death, which can come anytime. Can come anytime. This is not unnecessarily trying to frighten anybody. This is the way it is. And it is better to accept it than close your eye. The advantage of accepting is if you accept such possibility, then you need to think differently. You need to prepare your life differently. You need to get your knowledge differently. You need to live differently. Your purpose of life will be totally different. Totally different. Then you will really, really specialize. Then you will stop paying attention to so many superficial, unnecessary things. There are 100,000 things towards which you can pay your attention and while away your time, waste away your time. And then you see, no, this is not good. Then you will extract the meaning of your life. Then you will use the purpose of this human life, this body, this mind, this feeling, human feeling, and so forth. So concentration will come only if you think carefully about impermanence, imminence of death, and so on. There's the reason. From there comes a concentration or developing love, compassion, whatever, all these wonderful qualities. Then you will be able to have all these wonderful qualities, through which you will reach a stage where you will not have to fear death or anything. There's the reason. There's the purpose. So, one-pointed meditation. Second is called analytical meditation. Now, one-pointed meditation is really like summarizing, making the conclusion. And that's summarizing and conclusion will be possible only if you examine things by yourself, analyze, see the pros and cons, the usefulness of something, uselessness of something, right? Analyze carefully. Don't listen to anybody. Even if you listen to Buddha's teaching, even if you listen to His Holiness teaching, they are good, they are wonderful, but still, does it make sense to you? Are you able to comprehend the meaning? हिंदी में बोलता है ना जांच पड़ताल करके, like analyze everything in detail precisely. Then you will be able to come to the conclusion, yes, this is true, this is important, I will do it. There will be, if you don't have this, you don't come to this conclusion through personal scrutiny, analysis, then it's like Tibetan, saying, "Ngube khalatena nguto, gube khalatena guto." That means, when you see somebody crying, you feel like crying. When you see somebody laughing, you feel like laughing. But what is your status? If somebody says it's really good to believe in a creator God, yes, it looks true. It's better not to believe in a creator God, yes, it's true. And it happened at the time of the Buddha. Some of the villagers once came to the Buddha and said, "We are confused." Then the Buddha said, "In what area you are confused?" Then he said, "Our village is visited by so many preachers, spiritual teachers. One spiritual teacher comes and gives a teaching and says, this is the shortcut, this is the best, this is complete, follow it. Then after a while, another teacher comes and says, gives a completely different teaching and says, this is the shortcut, this is the best, this is the complete path, follow this." So we fail to understand who is right, who is wrong. So what should we do? Then at that time the Buddha said, use your common sense. Listen to all of them, use your common sense. That means analyze. Analyze. At least in those areas where you can use your capacity of judgment. That's really important. So don't just follow with blind faith. Right? So therefore meditation, now in general meditation means making your mind habituated with virtuous practices. The reason is right now you are controlled by your mind. Your mind is predominantly controlled by negative emotion. That's why you are suffering. You don't want to suffer. Therefore, as the other day I said, election, So therefore now I will make my mind habituated with positive emotions, with wisdom, with love, with patience, with compassion, and so forth. that will make huge difference in one's life. In our relationship with other people, in dealing with other people, in your experiences of ups and downs in life. If you have that wider perspective, wider understanding of the reality, you will be not jolted easily by turbulences in life. If you don't have that bigger perspective and understanding of the reality, then you can be tossed around just like a small piece of cotton. You become vulnerable to the changing situations and events, right? So therefore, this proper, complete perspective of the way things are, reality, is very, very important. That's why we are talking about impermanence. It's not invented by Buddha. It is the way things are. We are talking about interdependent origination. Not invented by Buddha, it's the way things are. Sangye namne chuenjang rong, ma chuenjang rong, chue namji chunyi ne tungpanyi dos. Whether the Buddhas come or not, the ultimate nature of all phenomena is emptiness. That's the way things are. Although that's the way things are, because we do not know the reality of the way things are, therefore we are unnecessarily suffering. So much of the suffering that we are encountering is actually unnecessary suffering. If you develop a little bit more penetrative or precise insight into the reality, much of this suffering will cease. I'll give you one example. There is a Buddhist prayer written by a great teacher who says, if I'm going to die tomorrow, wonderful. Unlike us, we'll never say that. You will be horrified. You don't want to die. You want to live, But this teacher says, if I'm going to die tonight, wonderful. Why? He says wonderful not because he is pessimistic, but he says wonderful because I will not keep on living and creating difficulties upon others. I will not continue to live, committing sins and so forth. So that way, it's wonderful. Not because he is pessimistic. Because in the same when he says that if I am not going to die tonight and going to live, say, 20, 30, 40, 50 years more, wonderful. Because then I live a long, long life and be useful to other people, serve other people, benefit other people. So you can see this, if you have that attitude of helping others, then it's really not so much about how long you live, but how you live. There's a story of, that I wrote down here. There was a public meeting organized in a village. All questions at the public meeting that there were about life beyond the grave. What is the life beyond the grave? Is there a future life and things like that? The master sitting in one corner only laughed when these people, they were arguing. Then the master said, have you observed that it is precisely those who do not know what to do with this life, who want another life that will last forever? So therefore he said, the question here is not whether there is life after death, which is important, we are talking, of course that is important, but if you are somebody who is worried about life after death, so in this context the question here is not whether there is life after death, but whether there is a life before death. And I heard this same thing from His Holiness Dalai Lama, in the stages of the path, Lamrim teaching, we talk about like obtaining the precious human life for many lives to come, things like that. Then he said, yes, this is good, but what about this precious human life which you already obtained? And we are wasting this. Living like an animal, eating, sleeping, going to the toilet that animals also do. We do just that and not use this wonderful human intelligence in cultivating this, great qualities. And then pray, may I achieve a precious human life in the next life. This is hypocrisy. Similarly, this is, yes, it's good you talk about future life, but what about this life? Live this life. Live this life means not just breathing. Living here means not just breathing, but doing something that's meaningful. Doing something that's meaningful cannot be done tomorrow, cannot be done after 2 months. It has to be done right now. So how you spend life can be decided by how you spend your day to day, about which we'll read a little bit later on. So let us do a very short meditation, right? So for this meditation, normally there are certain physical postures. You put your right hand on the left hand and form a triangle, and then the two thumbs joining should put at the level of the navel. Okay, that will help you straighten your back, but don't become rigid. The purpose of meditation is relaxation, not for rigidity. So straighten your back, but in a relaxed way. Your two shoulders should be straight, not lopsided like this. Your head also should not be lopsided. Your chin a little bit tucked inside, but not trying to just bend too much down. Because in the text it says if you have your head too high, it produces arrogance. Arrogant people go like this. If your head is more towards the left, it induces attachment. More to the right, hatred and anger. More in front, ignorance, sleep. It's amazing. One of the texts, explains that. I saw it. And then let your tongue touch the palate, upper palate. Don't force it, just gently touch it. And if you are somebody who wants to do this meditation for a longer time, this will help you not to get thirsty and also help you not to let your saliva fall out. Right? And your eyes should not be like wide open trying to see things. And also don't completely close. But normally when people meditate, they close their eyes because it's easier when you close your eyes. Then you don't see things, and thereby your mind will not run towards those objects. In which case, I would say then close your ears also, close your nose also, close all the openings. That will be difficult. So what is really desirable is just observe a natural gaze. And even while your eye is open and seeing something in front, even your ear is open and hearing a little bit sound, but make sure that the mind does not run or chase after those objects, the sound, the sight, and so forth. And if you are able to do that, then wherever you go, you will be successful in your meditation. Because meditation should be long-lasting, whether you are in the meditative state or during the post-meditative state. Post-meditative state means when you mix with the crowd, go into the marketplace. You cannot go to the marketplace with your closed eyes and things like that, you see. Your eyes should be open, but the mind should still be analyzing, concentrating, what I should see, what I should not see. That kind of alertness, awareness, mindfulness must be there, right? So, observe a natural gaze. A little bit towards your nose, but it's not trying to see your nose, right? So then, with having observed, then your two legs cross-legged, okay, half cross-legged, like that. Kangba, lakpa, kepa. Yeah, the back is straight. So the teeth also should be natural position. And having observed this, now the reason that you observe this posture, probably this is not a must, but the reason you observe this posture is if your body is straight, then the nerves and channels inside, they are straight. If they are straight, then the energies, the wind that flow inside that is also smooth. And if that wind that flows inside those channels are smooth, then the mind, which is actually inseparable from that subtle wind or subtle energy, will also be clear. And you can test it. You try to read book in this way, how long you can read, and then try to read the book by lying down, There is a difference. If you read a book by lying down, very soon you will be snoring, right? So observe this. So for the object of meditation, you can choose any object. Flower, Buddha's image, anything. If you choose, generally speaking, for concentration, you can choose any object. So whatever object you choose, you should make sure that your mind remains only on that, nothing else. Okay? So now today, we'll then as a precursor to all kind of meditation, normally in order to settle your mind, that may not be the actual meditation, but as a start of your actual meditation, you watch your breath. That is to make your mind settle down for doing the real meditation. Okay? So then we do this meditation by just watching the breath first, your breath, which is easy because this is something that is with you. Okay? So what you do is, having observed this position, breathe out. When you breathe out, imagine that your mind is somewhere on the tip of the nostril and watching the breath going out. Slowly, naturally, gently, and then coming in. So every time the breath goes out, count it as 1. Going out from the nose, 1, then coming in. Again goes out, 2, coming in. Again goes out, 3. So normally, you can count up to 9 or 10. But simply counting and then say, I did it, I counted 9, 10, that is not the sign of your being successful. Because when you count, at every count, if your mind is able to remain on that breath without getting distracted to any other thing, then you are successful. If you are not successful, then you have to repeat. It will take a long, long time even to count, forget about 9 or 10, even 3, even 4. Even then, let us try. And see how many of you are successful, okay? I will not tell about myself because I always fail, yeah? Okay? Okay, let us start. Okay? Successful? The 6th Dalai Lama wrote poems. Sometimes it's translated as love songs of the 6th Dalai Lama. So there he says, the face of my teacher which I meditate never come in my mind. But face of my girlfriend which I don't meditate always come in my mind. So that shows in which area we are running, in which area we are habituated. So like now you know based on your experience. 100,000 things come immediately in your mind, and you will not be able to focus on the breath. Somebody came to see me, a Westerner, some years back. He said, Geshe, since I meditated, I become a bad person. Because when you meditate, then you are able to see who is coming, who is going. Then you think that you are becoming a bad person. You have at least now noticed it, who is coming. Earlier, you did not even pay attention. As I said the other day, your doors and windows are open 24 hours. Tala nahi, kuch bhi nahi. No lock, nothing. No chokidar, nothing. Right? So now through meditation you have seen where your mind is going. There's the purpose. There's the purpose. So you need to tell the mind, no. I'm not thinking about you. I'm thinking about the breath. The breath. So it will be difficult. But if you try to do that repeatedly, then gradually you will be able to do that. And you are unable to do that because of several reasons, but there are primarily two obstructions. One, which is called excitement. As soon as you try to meditate on that chosen object, the breath or Buddha's image, whatever, the mind immediately gets excited, starts thinking about shopping, it starts thinking about picnicking, starts, thinking about the dinner appointment that you have tonight, things like that. And the mind is having a nice time. You're physically sitting here. That's one obstruction. So if you get so excited, then you tell the mind, don't get too excited. You are still in the samsara. You're also going to get sick. You're also going to become, aged. You're also going to die, you see. So be serious, don't get too excited. Life is impermanent, things like that. Think about something that has a sobering effect on the mind. Then the mind will come down on the object. Now sometimes that excitement is not there, but when you start sitting, especially if you meditate after having a big lunch or dinner, then very soon your mind becomes dull, it starts sinking, And in many cases you already are falling asleep, but still thinking you are meditating. Meditation is so relaxing, things like that. But you are not meditating, you are really relaxing, you are sleeping, you see. So if such things happen, now as a meditator, you need to know what is happening with the mind, whether it's getting excited or whether it's getting dull. If it's getting very dull, then you should think about something that raises the spirit of the mind, that cheers up the mind. Even after that it's not working, then you stop meditation, get up, take a nice cup of tea, coffee, go for a short walk, or wash your face and things like that. So in this way, make sure it's not getting agitated, excited, not getting dull and sinking, and the mind remains on the chosen object with clarity, with clear appearance of the object, and the mind stably staying on the object. So now this is your homework. You need to do this repeatedly. Read some more books to get more precise explanation, and do it. Even if we are not able to achieve much, but just being in touch with yourself through this kind of meditation is very, very healing, and has a very, very calming effect on your mind. The purpose of meditation is to calm your mind, right? So I'm just giving you a hint, I'm not a great expert on meditation, things like that. I'm just giving you a hint. So you need to do this repeatedly. That will make you peaceful, right? So right in the morning when you get up, do a little bit of prayer. If you know, do a little bit of prayer, and then do a little bit of meditation. And focus especially on the image of Buddha or His Holiness and something. It will have a very, very big influence in your life. Right? All right. So, we finish reading verse number 7? Or 5? Okay. So we read verse number. So when we say you are going to die, this text is saying that you always take on the side of no death. No, not today, or no, not after a few days, things like that. So verse number 6 is saying, that even when it has been repeatedly explained that death is definite and so forth, but still, if you say that if death is coming, so what? It's not coming just to me, it's coming to everybody, you see. If you say things like that, then this verse number 6 is saying that this is not a proper answer. Like cattle intended for slaughter, death is common to all. Moreover, when you see others die, why do you not fear the Lord of Death? So here what he's saying is, even if you say that, yes, I know that ordinary individuals die, nothing can stop that, right? But I'm not dying right now. Why you are talking about that? I'm not dying right now. One day I will die. So I don't have any fear right now. And if you show this reluctance to understand the death, as if it is very difficult to understand, then he is saying, no. Even understanding death is not difficult. Because like cattle intended, like a flock of cattle that is being taken to the slaughterhouse, right? Then we cannot say that this one particular cow or sheep is scared, the rest are not scared. Each and every individual sheep or cow or cattle that is there, they'll get scared, even those cattle who are less sensitive. Similarly, like in our case, there is a story that there's somebody who, starts eating one by one the people in that particular village. So everybody is waiting for their turn, right? So very soon your turn will come. Because of that, you cannot relax. You remain scared. It's coming very soon. Now it's my turn. Is coming very soon. You see, so like that. And in the case of cattle, when they see one slaughtered, the others see. Even cattle can see it. Even cattle can feel it. They also develop fear. So you are a human being. You are much more sensitive. How come you say that you don't have the fear? How can you turn a blind eye to that? And not only that, you have already seen. Moreover, when you see others die, you've seen, so as we explained yesterday, you've seen so many people of your relatives, your friends, that you know exactly. Of course, if you read a newspaper, then there is whole obituary, of very young people, very elderly people, you read that obituary. Some are highly educated, some are highly smart, some are very handsome, There's no order. You see those, you see. And right now also, you visit a hospital thing, right now also there are many people who are kind of dying in the hospital. Right? So with all these reasons, how can you say that you don't have fear? You definitely have fear, and you definitely have to have that fear to make you move towards more positive practices. Then again, if your rebellious mind again says, verse number 7, yes, it is true that just like those cattle, we are all moving towards the death. But right now, I don't know the exact time. The time is not definite, so I have no fear. That's what we think. The time is not sure, you see. Because the time is uncertain, you think you are eternal. Of course, you will. If I ask you, are you eternal? You will not say, I am eternal. But you are living your life as if it is eternal by saying the time is uncertain, so it will not come right now. As we read the other day, that past is short and future is long, eternal. You have this kind of tendency. Because time is uncertain, you think you are eternal. One day the Lord of Death will do you injury. So that means instead of having no fear because of uncertainty of time, you should have fear because of uncertainty of time. Because of uncertainty of time means it can come any time. There are cases where, kids dying in the womb of the mother, or just after the birth, or just when they are able to crawl, you see. We know many people dying like that. Recently we saw all these very horrifying and touching, pictures in Syria and Baghdad, that area. small, very beautiful young boys and girls, dying. We saw that photo, So therefore, because of this uncertainty of time, you will definitely die. As the Buddhist teachings say, death is definite. Right? Definite. Death is definite. Time of death is indefinite. The death will not come seeking appointment from you. Are you ready to die? When do you want to go? Huh? On a good day? No, but the Lord of Death will not come seeking your appointment, the day on which you want to go. Although in between we do all these astrological calculations, things like that, but the two most important periods of one's life, birth and death. Nobody came into this world, nobody was born after having a consultation with astrology. Which day is good for me to take birth? Nobody can do that. Nobody has done that. Similarly, we cannot consult in astrology which day is better for me to go. It's not like going to America or New Delhi, Right? You cannot do that. Very, very uncertain. As I had given you the example, if your physical enemy, if you hear or if you've heard that the physical enemy is approaching very close to you, then you will not stay relaxed. You will try to run away, hide yourself, prepare, to fight with whatever, you will make the preparation. So that's why he is saying, because of this uncertainty of time, you should really fear death and prepare. You cannot just be lazy. There's no room for laziness. It can come anytime. And that is not saying that you should not be happy. Okay, don't make a mistake. Those of us who fear death, then when we hear about all this, oh, life is so miserable, I'm not going to live long, it can come anytime. Oh, no use to do my BA, no use to do my MA, no purpose, I should just sit and recite Om Mani Padme Hum mantra. We are not talking about that. Rather, instead what we are saying is, I tell you a story, ancient story. There was a king or somebody whose name was Yayati or somebody, I don't remember the exact name, I read it somewhere. So he lived 100 years. And then when he finished living 100 years, the Lord of Death came and said, now you lived very long, it's your time to go. The story says that he married 100 wives and 100 children. So when he himself was like 100 years old, the Lord of Death came, you lived long, you have to go. Then he said, no, I don't want to die right now, please do something, I lived just 100 years. I want to live long. You can instead take one of I have 100 sons, take one of them. Let me live. I have so many things to do. Then the Lord of Death said, okay, I'll ask your sons. He asked all of them, like the eldest son was like 70, 80 years old, something like that. So nobody was ready to go. I also want to live. And then it said, the youngest son said, if my father lived 100 years old, my elder brothers lived 70, 80 years old, still they are not satisfied, then there's no use living long. So he said, take me, I want to go. And then it said that after 100 years or something, the child was born again back, and then he saw his father still living 200, 300 years and still not satisfied, you see. So what I'm saying is, we all have this wish to live long and not to die. But the question is, how long you want to live? And what are you going to do? And that is also not saying commit suicide, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, just living long is not the solution. If you want to live long, how long? It's exactly like, getting your wealth accumulating your wealth. You want wealth, you want to become rich, you want money. But how much you want? Nobody has an answer to this. By getting how much money you will be satisfied? $100, $200, $500, $1,000, $100,000? How much is the level by which you say, this is the level, I'm happy with this? And it is because of this discontentment, we are always hungry. One more, one more, one more, one more, one more. Never satisfied. Jabu jahi se nya to lang lang, tang tu thang la de nya bo chi chi se din chung. Ro? Jabu jahi se nya to lang lang. That means the king who has all his kingdom, but is still hungry. There's a story of somebody, I think it was a Buddhist king. During his time, there was somebody who was going somewhere. Then on the road, he found a big lump of gold. Then he went to the king and said, I found this gold, and I want to give it to somebody who is really, really poor. So can you please help me find that debt? Then he said, he fixed a debt, called everybody. Then this person came with the gold and he gave it to the king. The king said, what do you mean? I am rich, there are so many poor people. No, you are the one who is really poor. Because you have no contentment. You see? Right? So similarly, like this death, you see. Although we all have this wish to live, but how long? By living how many years you will be satisfied? If you are not satisfied today's life, much of the problem, frustration, disagreement, conflict that we see in today's world is because you are not satisfied with your life. Because you are not happy with yourself. Because you are not happy with yourself, then you express your anger. Then you fight with other people. You are not in harmony with yourself. Right? So therefore it's really not so, although I'm not saying that, okay, it's no point to live, I'm not saying that. Of course, if you lead a good life, as was the prayer of that Buddhist teacher, if you live a good life, then of course, the longer you live, it is good. That's why we are making long life offerings to His Holiness Dalai Lama. That's good. But if you live a horrible, violent, negative, destructive life, then there's a Tibetan saying, Dikchin setungol sho. That means the sinners have a short life. Like this. So the meaning is that there's not much purpose. Right? So anyway, this verse number 7 is saying that because of this uncertainty, you should remain prepared all the time. It can come any time. So that you don't have to worry when death comes, so that you are able to die peacefully. And in fact, it is by living the life properly that you will be able to face death very easily. Then verse number 8, it says, yes, death will come. Time of death is also uncertain. But to have fear with the death, fear comes to the mind of the cowards, not to the brave people, you see. I'm brave, so I'm not scared of death. The brave people, they are not scared of going into the battle, even though they know, the weapons will be hurled against them, swords will be thrown against them, so many problems. But the brave people, they don't hesitate. They jump into their face. So I don't. I have no fear against death. If you say like this, then this is answered by saying, if you consider future goals but not your waning life, who could call intelligent such selling of yourself? That means, if you say that fear comes only to the coward, not to the brave people, and if you say that you are the brave person, right? And because you say you are a brave person, you are not fearful of death, Because you're not fearful of death, you want to commit all kind of destructive, negative activities for your name, for your possession, things like that. Then the answer is, you are keeping yourself as a hostage. Just to get name, just to get fame, just to get wealth. All you want is name, fame and things like that. You don't care about your life. You are keeping your life as a hostage. Just as gamblers do. You see? So if you live such a life, can you call yourself an intelligent person? If you think carefully, all the hard work that you are doing is for what? Should be for your life. Right? Your name is supposed to be for your life, fame is for your life, wealth is for your life. But now you live such a life where you say, I don't fear about death. I don't care about my life. I want to get this, I want to get that. In order to get that, I'm ready to undergo any kind of hardship. I don't care about my life. If you are saying things like that, then there cannot be a person more stupid than you. Because you are caring only the name, fame, wealth and so forth. You don't even care about your life. Right? If you consider future goals like getting name, fame and so forth, but not your waning life, because life is ebbing out. Each and every passing of the minute, hour and so forth, the life is waning out, it is ebbing out. And if you don't care about that, then who would call such a person intelligent person? You're the most stupid person there. Such selling of yourself, you're selling yourself. And which is to a great extent true in today's modern world, where we live in the market-oriented system, which is based on this whole idea of buying and selling. Because of this materialistic tendency, people have started thinking, if you have money, you can buy anything you want, including human beings. Which is happening actually in some places. Not some place, but many places, really. Whether you call it slavery or whatever you want to call it. Those people have money. People think you can buy everything with money. Money is the most important thing. Money makes me a go, as we say. So therefore, again, it's crucial to really think, can money buy value? We are talking about preserving human values. If you sell your human values also, recently I read a book which is called Can Money Buy Everything? Can money buy everything? Or is it good you try to buy everything through money? This is happening in politics. This is happening in getting jobs. If you have money, even if you are like buying a cinema ticket, you don't have to wait in line. You send somebody to stand in the line. If you're about to fly, take an aeroplane, again you don't have to sit in the line. You call it first class, second class, business class, whatever you call it. You can jump the line. You see? We have given so much importance to the money and so little importance to the value, the basic human values. That's why we are suffering today in today's world. And as I said the other day, much of the problems, difficulties that we are facing today in today's world is sign of starvation of the mind. Right? Does it make sense?
Yes.
You're good, you're supporting me, very good. The others are not saying anything. They're just looking at me. So this verses, if you think carefully, read carefully, I'm just quickly trying to explain this. So please, this book, 400 verses, is available in Tibetan. English translation is also available. So don't be satisfied with these short sessions. Start reading them. And wherever it is not clear, ask the Geshes. Bother the Geshes. Harass them. You see, a great opportunity. And especially this time I'm so glad so many young people are showing so much interest, Whenever I have this kind of occasion, whenever I meet His Holiness, I inform His Holiness. Young people are showing interest, young Tibetans are showing interest in language, in culture, in Buddhism. His Holiness feels very happy. The last time when he was giving teaching to the students, he said, do something so that I don't have to die regretfully. You remember that? So you're listening to him. This attendance is a sign of your respecting His Holiness. And it's not for His Holiness. It's for you, it's for us, it's for everybody, you see. Right? Wonderful. So read this. Don't think this is a philosophical text. Oh, very difficult, Many students who study in the library, when they first start Tibetan language, they say, oh, Tibetan language is so difficult. Then I say, first you drive away this ghost of saying the difficult, you see. Instead, you show interest. Wow, this is so nice, try to just say one sentence, two sentences, Then it becomes easy. There's nothing that does not become easy when you get habituated with that. It's only a question of practice and habituation, making a little bit of effort. So if you consider future goals, whatever, name, fame, money, whatever, but not your life, who would call that person intelligent? Because you're actually selling yourself. People have bought you. That's what we even normally say. People, oh, kodang nyo sare, sigaw namju, kodang nyo sare, chosi yamare sigaw, di sigaw, kodewo lamna. For the Tibetans, I would actually teach in Tibetan, you see. It will be very easy. But anyway, let us see later on. Verse number 9. He again tries to counter this wonderful teaching by saying, no, I'm not going to sell my life. But in fact, I'm doing all this for my life. He comes back with this kind of rebuttal, saying, no, this name and this fame and this money, this friendship, all this I'm doing for my life. And it is in fact for my life that I'm compelled to do all these sins. Killing people, cheating people, exploiting people, which is normal in big cities. I'm doing all this for my life. Life is, I know, life is very precious. If you say things like that, then the answer to that is, why do you do ill deeds, pledging yourself as a security, as a hostage? Of course, like the wise, you must be free of attachment to yourself. There are only two possibilities. If you keep yourself as a security, as a hostage, meaning selling yourself, and then engage in ill deeds, saying that this is for you, whereas actually you have sold yourself, then either you are 100% stupid, or you are like the wise person, the Buddha. You're completely free of attachment to yourself. You don't care about yourself, Because of ignorance, we do that. Of course, not because you are wise. Like, for example, somebody who gets drunk all the time, spends all the money for drinking. They've sold themselves. They've completely destroyed themselves. We see such people, whether you a drug addict or alcoholic, whatever, you have destroyed your life. And thereby you're also destroying the life of your family members, making their life miserable. Miserable. Where was it? I heard a story today. Oh, yeah. One abbot in the Piti monastery. He came to see me today, so we were talking. And he has published a lot of books. He came to present those books to me, so we were talking. He said in certain areas, certain place in that area, he said Dharma is very useful. In many villages, they become more peaceful, they become less violent and things like that. But still there are some village areas where before Dharma came, they used to engage in all this alcoholism, fighting, things like that. So in particular place, there were like 100 something widows whose husbands were basically died untimely death because of alcoholism and things like that. You see. So if you resort to this negative ways of life, you can create so much nonsense to your life and also bring so much suffering to other people, right? Verse number, time is gone already. I am sorry. But I never asked you to ask questions. Ask 1 or 2 questions. I will quickly answer and quickly stop. Any questions? Any burning questions? Some of you must have been thinking, he kept on talking, he never gave us any opportunity to ask questions. 1 or 2 questions? Yes?
When you said the future goals,
Yeah.
what if you have some virtuous future goal? This is part of the future goals, if you reverse number 8 first.
Yeah, but it has to do with the context. Here it is primarily talking about unhealthy goals. Yeah. Yeah. Now even if the goal is a virtuous goal, but even for the virtuous goal, you should not sacrifice your life. Don't sacrifice yourself. Don't sacrifice the bigger one for a smaller one. Bigger purpose for a smaller purpose. That is from Shantideva. Don't sacrifice a bigger purpose for a smaller purpose. Right? Any? Yeah.
What if like we have like a thirst or like kind of not a greed, but like this, we want a longer life to have knowledge. Right?
Yeah.
So would that be like a wrong kind of intention to look at? Would it still be negative?
No, not necessary. But the main issue is why you want knowledge.
To get enlightenment.
Huh?
To like work towards enlightenment.
Exactly. So you have to be very clear. Knowledge, there are so many types of knowledge. Even ordinary knowledge. If it is meant for helping other people, doing good things, then of course it is correct. But if you are just seeking knowledge out of curiosity, as many scientists do, or many other foreigners and others do, I'm not saying bad or good, but what I'm saying is sometimes, because sometimes in today's modern world, people do things which nobody has done. Daredevil activities, they call it. Jumping from the rock, motorcycling, whatever, And then through doing that, many of these people die. So it's questionable how worth those kind of activities are. I'm not saying bad or good because I have to have a complete picture. But my superficial, immediate observation is, you are sacrificing this wonderful life just like that, for money or for fun, which is, I think, not good. Yes.
Usually we used to heard, from Western countries, we used to heard that many societies, even in like Asian countries, developed countries, but these things happening in our own society.
What?
Society.
Yeah.
So what's the real cause?
Real cause is, I think, I cannot make a generalization. It has to be understood case by case. But generally speaking, the more the society is without harmony, the more the society is without love, without affection, without being taken care of, then you get this disenfranchised people, you see. Then they think, I'm a black sheep in the society. Nobody pays attention to me, nobody cares about me, I am ostracized. So be it. Now I go this way. They start doing bad things, you see. So that's why the love and affection in the most important unit, the unit of family, is so, so important. You see? When you have nobody to turn to, and there's no love, no affection, you see, and you also spiritually hollow, there's nothing inside. If you're somebody who has really good spiritual resources, inner grounding, then you intentionally move into the mountain, stay alone. You never feel depressed, never feel loneliness. But when you don't have that inner resource, and also the rest of the society is not taking care of you, then you feel loneliness. Imagine people who feel loneliness in a big city with 10 million, 20 million people. Can you believe this? Suffering from loneliness, low self-esteem and things like that. And people have asked me this question, Geshe Lhakdor, do you live alone? I said, yes. Don't you feel lonely? That's how people think, if you're living alone, you should feel lonely, Whereas in my case, I'm not praising, this is reality. In my case, I have no time to feel lonely. I'm so busy with so many things. So those meditators who sit high up in the mountain, physically they are isolated, but mentally they are praying for all sentient beings. Sentient beings are with them all the time. Love is not how many times you touch each other, but how many times you mentally reach each other. So their reaching is there with these bodhisattvas, with these practitioners. So they are full of happiness. Right? So again you can clearly see much is to do with your inner resources, your mind. Yeah? Last question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At the 6th verse, they said death is common to all, so we will all die one day,
Yeah.
one day or another,
Yeah.
and we should get prepared to it. But then they say, why do you not fear the Lord of Death? Why should we be feared about that?
Huh?
If we should get prepared to death, why should we fear it? It's written, why do you not fear the Lord of Death?
Yeah, you should fear.
Why?
Because death is horrifying.
But it's common to everyone. We will
Exactly, that's not the reason. There's not the reason. If everybody is dying, if no one else is dying, you are alone dying, you have fear. Why? So what the text is saying is if you are dying alone, if you are the only person who is dying and no one else is dying, you have fear. If everybody is dying, death is common to all, then I have no fear. If you say that, then why you have this fear if you are dying alone and not when you are dying with everybody? Is this out of jealousy? Right? So that's the point. You have fear not because you are dying alone or dying with others. You have fear because the chapter of your life is closing. And we all have this natural urge to live. And we see this all the time. Like in big cities or in other places, you see very, very poor, very, very sick people, spending their almost whole life on the road. Who doesn't have leg, who doesn't have hand, but still they don't want to die. This is the way things are, right? So we don't want to die. That means we have fear about the death. So it doesn't matter you die alone or die with others. So this is not a reason to say that I have no fear because I die with others. Okay, thank you.